Welcome to the Biz Gone Social podcast. We help entrepreneurs navigate how to get known, get customers, and get the edge over their competition. Here is your host, Lorraine Duncan.
So here we are on the Biz Gone Social podcast, and I am so glad to be here. And my promise to you, as always, is I want to give you a little bit of verbal caffeine that's going to energize your business and help you stay social. Because after all, don't you want to be the business everyone's talking about? I know I do. And a big welcome to Tracy. Welcome, Tracy.
Hello. It's fantastic to be here. Great to be with you, Lorraine.
So let's talk a little bit about you. Let me find out a little bit about your business, what you do, and who you serve.
Okay, so I'm a globally award-winning publicist. So what that means is I work across industries and I work across borders. So I work with everything from filmmakers to authors to entrepreneurs to solopreneurs to startups, people with great ideas that are bringing them into the world, whether it's creative or on the business side. I work with projects that I resonate with and help to elevate their message. Basically, I was doing a podcast once and I was sort of trying to describe the PR side of how it's not about spin, but it's actually about finding genuine awesome things and making sure people hear about them. And I said once, it's about elevating and celebrating what people do. And that kind of came out, and I've been quoting myself on it ever since, because that really is what it's all about. There's people doing fantastic things, but like you're saying, you want people to be talking about what you're doing, and there's ways and means to get out there, to elevate yourself ahead of your competitor, to excite potential investors, to all that kind of stuff, to engage your current clientele with your socials and with helping to build your brand and talking about you and getting excited about you. So I do what I've done for myself. We've built my own global brand without ever spending a penny in advertising. And that's what I teach clients to do, and what I speak about on global stages and podcasts and all kinds of things.
That's awesome. And so why should you think, what is probably the number one reason why a business should have a publicist?
So, as entrepreneurs, and I'm one myself, we're all used to speaking about ourselves in an advertorial way. It's really hard to sort of switch to the editorial unless you really have an understanding of what different media sources would be looking for, and kind of can switch your brain to that, as opposed to just the entrepreneur brain, which is, marketing and sales and that kind of thing. It's a whole different kind of mindset. So there are tons of media opportunities that literally 90% of the entrepreneurs I speak to absolutely don't even know about those potential avenues where they can get absolutely free promotion. It does take time, your own time and effort and research in finding the opportunities, responding to them, and engaging with media. So a publicist, can help you not have to reinvent the wheel, in one sense, not have to figure all that stuff out, can help you. And I often say, if you have a marketing budget, but you've never looked at having a publicist, I always challenge people, just take a little bit out of your marketing budget, even if it's for 1 month, even if you just do PR for 1 or 2 months. At the end of that 1 or 2 months, A, you'll have a bunch of media that your publicist will have got for you. And also B, you'll have a completely different mindset about yourself. You'll see how you're framed. The way I often have, power women with beautiful, and men too, but mostly women say this specifically, with long resumes, and they have great things that they've done and awards and everything else. But that they'll give me all the information, then I'll write it up, in their bio, and then they'll say to me, "Wow, you made me sound so good." And I'm like, I didn't make you sound good. This is all of your accomplishments. But you know what? We're not used to reading about ourselves in the same way we're used to reading about other accomplished people. So you'll have this new understanding of yourself and what you bring in, and most people are surprised at the media opportunity. I always say, no matter what it is you do, you mow lawns for a living, you clean, you work at the hotel cleaning things, you're an entrepreneur, you're a marketing person, you're whatever it is, there are absolutely media opportunities for you within within the industry that you're in, and then also mainstream opportunities. Even if you don't think there are. And that's what a publicist does, is they know about those avenues and they can uncover those routes. And then also on the side that people are more familiar with, which is, writing press releases. Yes, now you can write your own release, you can throw it on the wire, but a lot of times that doesn't do anything except for your SEO, and it'll do your SEO and your backlinks, but it won't generate media in terms of the reporter calling you up to do an article. So how do you do that? We know how to do that. We have those contacts, and we've we've worked for years to develop those media contacts and to know how to tell media a story that's going to be attractive to them. And,
Yeah. So, can you give a few tips on if somebody wanted to get to the top, what are some things that they should be doing?
Yeah. So some things you can do on your own if you don't have a publicist or not somewhere. Sorry, I'm babysitting my daughter's dog. If you don't have a publicist, there are some things that some people are starting to learn about some of these entry level things, but then they're like a whole avenue beyond that. So some people, entrepreneurs with their finger on the pulse of the opportunities, would do research, know about HARO, which is Help a Reporter Out. So a lot of people still don't know about that though. And then beyond that, there's a bunch more. So Help a Reporter Out is a great starting point. HARO, anybody can sign up. It's free. You just go and you get yourself on the email list, and you can 3 times a day, morning, noon, and night, they send you an email, and you can narrow it down by, if you're only looking for tech opportunities, or you're only looking for lifestyle. And that's where you'll see things like with a deadline of Friday at 2 for Reader's Digest, I'm looking for entrepreneurs who can talk about blah, blah, blah. Or I'm looking for real estate agents who can blah, blah, blah. Or I'm looking for Fortune magazine. So literally every magazine, major media, NBC, Rolling Stone, they all use that. And the key to answering those, you think, I'm not going to get picked. Well, sure you will. I've gotten clients using those in New York Magazine, Reader's Digest, major newspapers, Oprah magazine. So the key to those is answering exactly what the reporter's asking quickly. Don't wait 3 days to craft the perfect answer, because by then they're trying to get quick answers. So beyond that, there's other services. Some I pay a couple $100 a month for. Some are hashtags. Some are lists, individual reporters lists you can get on where they tell you what they're sourcing. But that's a really key way, because as opposed to, I call it the opposite of a press release. When you write a press release and send it out, you're trying to interest them in your story. And then even if they're interested, you got to hope they want to do it soon, and you're on their schedule. But when you're responding to these, even though the whole article won't be about you, sometimes it can develop, reporters are learning about you into more later. But even if, there's only a paragraph or two about you, but it's in Rolling Stone, like when they quoted me, when I mentioned Rolling Stone, or when my client got my client in Oprah magazine, or you put that in your bio, hairdresser, as she's a hairstylist, as quoted in Oprah magazine. Well, that's gold. Or my client who is and I was talking about, who is a life coach, 26 years old with no media experience at all. Literally the day after she hired me, I just found a perfect media opportunity for her based on her personal experience, and got her in the print issue of Good Housekeeping magazine. So it's about having those, and that's built her career for the last 2 years. She gets every stage she wants. She has seen in Good Housekeeping that article about mental illness. Now she's called a mental health champion and blah, blah, blah. So it's about having someone who understands the landscape. Just like, when you have a lawyer, you have someone who already knows how to navigate that courtroom. We know how to navigate the media landscape. And I'm going to shut the door.
It sounds to me it sounds to me that the dog wants a little bit of PR too.
Yeah, I think he does. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. So here's
working from home. It's the new reality.
I guess so. So here's a question I have for you. You've done a lot of work with people who have, they have feelings about certain social issues. And, what are some, do you think businesses should get involved in social issues just for the mere fact of getting attention? Or is it something that if they do have strong feelings about something, should they even test the waters with something like that?
So that's a personal, great question. And that's a real minefield. Proceed with extreme caution. I always say with that. Now, if it's something where, you have, number one, best advice, do not get into meme culture where you just share a thing because it looks awesome, or for a moment you think it sounds right. You don't know where it's coming from, or you don't know the background information, or who might not just offend, but because you may not actually even understand how you might be hurting people, even people you care. You know what I mean? So don't get into something at all for the sake of it, or just because for that moment it seems like a good thing, because absolutely you're not helping anything, and you're just going to get into more harm than good. Absolutely. But on the other side, I would never say, if it's something that you actually feel deeply on a personal conviction level, where it's like on a personal level you want to speak out, and you feel like it would be remiss not to, not because everybody's talking about it, not because, and then secondly, you feel you really, I mean, you will die on that. You're ready to die on that hill. You know what I mean? Like, you're ready to be publicly called on it. You're ready to be like, yes, me and Business Gone Social, this is what we stand behind, and that's it. And there may be some things where it just, you're ready to do that. And where it's an absolute, like, I don't care who because it's not to me. Like, I mean, I don't want to be everybody's publicist. I want to be publicist with people that I align with their message, because my work is messaging. You know what I mean? Somebody else might be different if you're just, cleaning their walls or, doing something else. But yeah, so if you want to be, you have to be careful about, and not just from a business perspective, not just because you may lose customers, from a bottom line perspective, but also you may actually alienate people you don't want to alienate without really understanding fully an issue. So I always say, again, very cautiously, but if you truly and deeply feel that that's the hill that that you personally and your business, that you'll put your business on the line for, sometimes you have to, that may be something that you want to do, but don't do it blindly. And don't do it without understanding,
I can see how it can backfire too. So you have to be very careful. So I'm going to move on. I had saw something written in your bio, something about being a power woman, and what exactly is a power woman, and how does one become a power woman?
So I always I don't even remember the first person who, threw that out there and called me that, but, I guess I resonated with it, not because I'm so special, but I call all my clients, ask them, my clients are all people that I resonate with, that I think are awesome. That's why I'm working with them. That's important to me, that I'm at the point of my career where I don't have to take on everything. I can say no, I can say yes, and I take on, the yeses are things I'm going to wake up to my day and enjoy. So I honestly, truly call all my clients with across industries who are all doing amazing things. Like most of the people listening, the business people listening to this, or the authors listening, or the entrepreneur, we are all doing amazing. We're all power women, really. And I don't think it's just, in the business space either, because someone could be listening to this thinking, oh, well, that's great, but I haven't done this or that. I have the idea, but I haven't accomplished this, or I haven't written my book, yeah, but you know what? How many people count on you, or how many other things do you do in the day? And so honestly, it's all in how you look at it. And until I don't want to sound like a motivational speaker, because I didn't get this from the stage, but until you really see yourself that way, then you're not going to really fully feel that you should be at the table or on the stage, or fully understand why you should have a microphone in front of your face, and why anybody in the media would care what you think. Why would they listen to you? Well, why not? You have to understand that people have to understand that there's no difference between the person we haven't heard of who's doing amazing work, and the one who's on the stage getting all the awards and getting all the what. Why do I get all these awards? Because people have nominated me, and then I've been considered. So now I nominate my clients to be considered. Until somebody's nominating you, you're not considered. So nobody's giving you that. It doesn't mean you're less than. It means you haven't been presented. You haven't gotten out there. You haven't let people see what you're doing. So yeah, power women, we all are.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to switch gears a little bit now. Can you tell me one reason why you love being in business for yourself?
I can't even think of another alternative. I've done it for so long now, and I've heard a quote saying, oh, when you're in business by yourself, you get to choose which 80 hours of the day you want, or of the week you want to work. It's more like which 120 hours of the week you want to work. But no, it's not what people think it is when you don't have a business. Oh, I'm going to be the boss and I'm going to just chill out. No, you're working harder than you ever did, and you all angles. But honestly, I can't. There's no, number one, on the financial side, there's no cap. The only cap is your own limits. Because I can think of other ideas. Whereas if you're being paid, no matter how good your job is, you're being paid, at that salary. I mean, that's maybe a small percentage of people are in million, what I mean? But most people, you get a great job, but that doesn't matter how hard you work, how whatever else, it's still capped at that. But when you're in business for yourself, there could be a million different income streams, different ideas, and really, I just like the fact that same, you live and die on your own. There's no one to blame but yourself, which I guess is high pressure. But, some people work well under pressure. If you like to own it, and if you're a person who gets frustrated looking at other things, thinking, oh, this is how I do it, or, you have the autonomy to follow your own heart and your own ethics and your own morals in the way you do business and who you do business with and the kind of projects you take on. So all those, and and the autonomy and the freedom now in the world now where so much is done virtually, I can live my love of travel and combine business and travel. And so to me, there's so many reasons, but I know it's not for everybody. A lot of people think it sounds, like scary, but to me, it's scarier to depend on someone else can call you into their office and, then you're done.
Absolutely. So, we always talk about the glamour of being in business for ourselves and all the good things that happen when you're in business for yourself. But as we know, as being entrepreneurs, we know that there are struggles. What would you say is a struggle that you struggle with in your business?
So I'm still at the point where I've gotten as far as I can get with just being me, and it's myself and my husband. But but this problem which I'm learning is a lot of entrepreneurs' problem, which is scaling, which is how do I duplicate what I do? How do I do it? How do I let my business go on so that I could go off for 2 weeks and do other things, whether it's other business and not taking care of all this business, and the company still goes on without me. And so I've had, and then partly that's a trust issue, and like, but also partly it's how do you stop? Because, my work is important to me. My clients put a lot into me, and my name's on the company, and I don't want to just farm this out to somebody who's going to do but I know there's great people out there, but then also you have to stop. How do you do that? How do you stop what you're doing? That go on deadline to incorporate somebody else and train them in your processes and do all that. So I think my big has been I could get more clients, but I have to limit how many clients I take on. I do a certain number a month or whatever, because it's primarily me doing the strategy work, me doing the writing, and I like that because I actually do love what I do, and I still want to get my hands into it. But I have to learn, which again I've learned is a thing for a lot of entrepreneurs, especially ones who've been solopreneurs, and probably especially when your name's in the company, that it's really hard to process it. Not just being you, but when you don't scale, really what you have, even though it's a company, even though it's an corporation, what you really have is a job, not a business. It's a good job, but it's a job because when you're not there doing it, it's not sustaining itself, right? So
it's all about the delegation, and I know it's really hard to let go of some of the things that you're doing. So I'm gonna, the last question I always ask to everyone is one universal piece of advice to business owners out there, either people who are just starting out, people who are seasoned, or people who are thinking of opening up their own business. What would be one piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, for me, I always think media, because again, I've built my brand without literally ever spending a penny in advertising. And I mean, advertising certainly has its place depending on your products too. Sometimes you want, but I mean, I'm just saying the power and that strength of building your name and your thought leadership on whatever it is that you're an expert in is really makes the difference between. It just opens up so many doors. If you're looking for investment, I've had clients say, it makes investors take me more seriously. Just anything that can make that bio stronger does wonders for your business in terms of getting media opportunities, getting stage opportunities, getting investment opportunities. And so I would really say just see yourself the same confidence that you had that let you open that business or write that book or whatever it is that you did. Take that same confidence and realize you're just as valuable to the media as you are to your potential customers, and find ways to utilize that in your favor to build your brand, for lack of a better terminology.
That's awesome. So if somebody resonated with you today and they need a publicist, how would they get in touch with you?
So they can find me on all the socials. My name is Rare. It's only one Tracy Lamourie, but you can find me at lamouriemedia.com or on Instagram, Tracy Lamourie PR Media, on Facebook, Tracy Lamourie. They can email me. They can call me. I have a Toronto number and a Los Angeles number. And I'm happy to give if they say they saw me on BizGone Social or heard me on BizGone Social, happy to do a free consult with them. And it won't just be a big ad. We'll actually sit down and talk about where I can explain to them, how it would work for their company, like what specifically I would suggest for what would be possible for them and all that fun stuff. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much again for being a guest. And to everyone out there, until next week, I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to the Biz Gone Social podcast. Find us on Instagram at Biz Gone Social for extra tips. Check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, stay social.